Hi, good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, and it's 8:45 p.m. here in Chicago. So, I just finished watching Clarissa Shields' response to Layla Ali's video, and it was okay. There were some things that I I didn't care for. I'll get into that, but let me start with the things that I did like, or maybe like is the wrong word, things that I think she did well. Um, I like the portion where she definitely established that she is the greatest of all time and that she would currently beat Layla Ali. But even if it is due to Layla Ali's age, I like that she established that, and she made a point to post clips of other big names in boxing agreeing with that. That was smart of her to do. And at first, when she did it, I was thinking, but what does that have to do with what Layla was saying? Layla is saying that you are dragging her name and you are being very nasty and unprofessional, basically. You being the GWO, or you being able to actually beat her in a fight, how does that address anything? But once Clarissa posted, people saying that she is the greatest of all time, namely Bud, Shakur, I forgot the other guy, wasn't he in Ali himself? And then Tim Bradley. Once she posted them saying, they love Layla, but the GWO is Clarissa, she came back and said, and this is why she's jealous of me. So I get it. She's firing back. So I did like that part. What else did I like? Well, there was one part that I thought I liked, but then I remembered something. So I actually didn't like it. When Clarissa posted Layla saying that she doesn't really like to be all about race or Black Lives Matter for social media because of endorsements, I think she said, and having a huge following of all different backgrounds. Now, in Clarissa's defense, Clarissa might not know this, but even though Layla said that, if you've been following Layla, like even before her beef with Clarissa, on her social media, she does not shy away from racial issues or racial injustice. She does not. So I don't know why she said that in Clarissa's video clip or when she said that, but I know because I followed her. And Layla once, there was a time when a lot of black people, this was about 5, 6 years ago, a lot of black people, no, it was longer than that. It was about 8 years ago. A lot of black people were like getting attacked down the street and stuff. And Layla actually made a video that said, anybody run up on you, you better fight. You better whip their behind. And she said, because I'm just waiting for somebody to say something to me. And I just thought that was so funny. I even showed it to my mother. She was sitting in her SUV, and she was like, because I'm just waiting for somebody to say something to me. And then she was like, no, I'm just kidding. She was like, but seriously, don't let nobody try you. You better stand up and fight. That's one instance. She does not shy away from racial issues. She does not. And then if you guys saw Layla on that cooking show, when it was her turn to be judged, they were judging Layla's dish. And that one Indian looking guy told her that her food was delicious, but the steak was incredibly overcooked. And Layla's response was, and this is almost an exact quote, that's how well I remember it. Layla said, well, I cook for my family, my people, who happen to be black people, and we like our food well done. She sure did. She went there. So you can miss me with Layla being afraid to speak up about being black, or, I don't know why she said that. Clarissa has the clip. So it's not that she didn't say it, but it's not true. Layla does not shy away from any racial type of issues or tension. And I just gave you 2 examples. There are more. But again, That's not Clarissa's fault, because Claressa probably doesn't even know what I know about, those two situations with Laila. That's not her fault, but I'm just saying that is cap. That is cap. Laila does not shy away from those issues. But again, she posted the video and maybe she doesn't know. And there was another thing that Laila, so here's something else that Claressa did. Now this, I think Claressa was pretending not to know what Laila meant, for her advantage in this video. She talked about how Laila said her father wouldn't even pretty much want to fuck with her. Not in those exact words, but she was saying how her father wouldn't even want to fuck with her, and he would, find her to be, disappointing or whatever. And so Claressa then set out to, quote unquote, prove that Laila was lying. And so she showed a photo of her with her arm around Muhammad Ali as he was older. And then she showed, she told us where Laila told her, "My father's very proud of you." And then she showed where Laila was saying, "Me and my father, we think it's cute that she calls herself the GOAT. We thought it was cute." Okay, Claressa, when she said her father wouldn't want pretty much anything to do with you, of course she wasn't referring to the time and period where you weren't dragging his daughter. She's saying as a result of you dragging her in every interview, he would be disappointed and wouldn't want anything to do with you. She's not talking about when you two got along. So for you to try to act like you exposed her as a liar when she said that about her father, no, she's saying the way you're carrying on right now and won't stop saying her name. That's what she means. So I thought that was kind of slick for Claressa to do that. And then another thing, when Claressa said that Laila Ali was obsessed with her, and then she showed a bunch of clips and she showed them real fast. If you pay attention, most of those clips she showed was when Laila was praising her. She was showing Laila saying, "Claressa Shields, Claressa Shields, Claressa Shields, Claressa Shields." That was Laila putting your name out there. So why would you use that to say that she was obsessed with you? Make it make sense. But here's my overall opinion. I didn't even mention how she did Alicia Baumgartner at the end. That wasn't even necessary, because this ain't got nothing to do with Alicia Baumgartner. And I mean, that was also a desperate kind of stretch. You say I'm a disappointment and a disgrace to the culture, but you know who is? Alicia Baumgartner. And here you are hugged up with her. So what if she's in a photo hugging Alicia Baumgartner? That was a stretch, and you tried to take things that weren't even related and make them make sense just to drag Alicia Baumgartner. Why did you do that? I thought that was actually very tacky. And for you to do that, do you have an issue with her having a relationship with Alicia Baumgartner? I don't know what that was about. I thought it was a little silly. And then I also thought that whole dedication to the Ronda Rousey, situation that Laila had with Ronda Rousey. What does that have to do with you, though? That had nothing to do with you. And if you're trying to establish she hates on everybody, that's still weak. At the end of the day, Claressa, Laila's issue with you is that you won't stop saying her name in interviews. And you definitely used her name for clout. And then you had the nerve to say in your response that she used your name for clout. Huh? That doesn't even make sense. Your issue with her was that she said she didn't think there was anybody worth coming back for. And you were mad about it. And you've been on a warpath ever since. And you were using her name. You mentioned her name in almost every interview you did. So for you to try to turn around and say she's using your name for clout, she is now, because you left her no choice, So the Ronda Rousey segment, but I do think that it wasn't a bad response, but when you really dissect it, she was pulling from too many places. That's just my opinion. She was pulling from too many places and tried to make it all mesh together. I do like how, I mean, this is war, right, between them. So I do like how she established, I'm the GOAT, I will beat your ass, and here are some other people who think so. Even though that doesn't really address what Laila's issue was with you, I still, that those were like the good parts of her video. So it wasn't bad. It was just that you got to be able to kind of see through the okie doke and how she pasted things together. And again, how she, like, towards the end when she went at Alicia Baumgartner, I was like, okay. I don't know what that, you know. She's establishing, you're saying that I'm bad for the culture and I'm this and that. This one was taking PEDs and you're hugged up with her. What's that like? I just don't see the relationship. I don't know. I don't see where a lot. Here's what I want to say. A lot of things that Claressa brought up really has nothing to do with Laila's issue with her. Nothing at all. You know? Because Laila kind of has the, we don't have to like each other, but stop fucking going to every interview dragging me. That's basically what Laila, she didn't say that, but that's basically her thing. You won't stop saying my name. You won't stop dragging me. And Claressa kind of made it about all this other stuff, But it was still an entertaining video, and it still got a lot of views. So I would say it was a success. Hell, But that's all. And again, Laila never promised a fight. She never promised a fight. So even you playing that clip of her saying, I would have to think about it. That's what people should be hearing. I would have to think about it. She didn't say, come up with 15 million and we're definitely going to make it happen. She didn't say that. I know you wish she did, but she didn't, She said, I would have to think about it. That gave her a lot of room to say, no, I'm too old, But that's my overall assessment of the video. It wasn't bad, but she was pulling from too many places, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But that's all. Have a good day, everyone.